Hello, folks. Thanks for joining. I'm Robert Bell of the High Country Scottish Rite Club in Prescott, Arizona, and I'm fortunate to have Dave with us here. Dave just received his first degree in our Blue Lodge in Prescott last week, and I have a few questions and a few things that I'd like Dave to share with us. So, enjoy. Dave, welcome.
Sweet.
Could you share with us what first impressions, not just impressions, but your first introduction to masonry in general?
I was doing concrete at the time. I was about 15, and I had a teacher that had a Masonic ring on, and I knew what the trowel was and everything he had on there, and I wanted to know how he got that, and I didn't have one. And he explained to me the difference between optical and speculator masons, and that's where I got my first taste of masonry.
Wonderful. That's very interesting. And Dave, could you share with us how you entered the Masonic Lodge, your first time in a Masonic Lodge?
Well, the first time I came in, I didn't know how to come in. Nobody ever told me, and I started looking up, and I actually emailed this lodge to find out what I could do, and they said just to come in. And I didn't know any Masons or anybody at the time, and I came up here of my own free will. And first time I came in, I was very stressed out, didn't know what I was expecting, what I was going into, and came up here and everybody was just great to me, and it was kind of surprising because of different conflicts of everybody's different ideas of what Masonry is and what isn't.
Sure.
And when I first came in here and got to talk to a couple of the brothers, totally different than what I expected, and that's when that was it for me.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Beautiful story. And Dave, if you would share with us also, you've just received your first degree, your entered apprentice degree in the Blue Lodge.
Yes.
Is it what you expected it to be?
That and more. I love it.
Really?
Oh man, I'd do it all over again if I could right now. I loved it.
So
every step.
Yes. Your smile and your facial expression tells a story within itself.
Yes, sir.
So, Dave, we thank you for joining us, and we wish you nothing but success and enjoyment traveling along with us. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob Bell, Prescott High Country Scottish Rite Club, and this afternoon we have the pleasure to talk and visit with a few newly made Masons. Scott received his third degree just a few weeks ago, and we're going to engage in a few questions, and we hope you enjoy it. Scott, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to have you.
Good to have you, brother.
If you would share with us how you knew of the Masonic Lodge.
All right. Well, for years, I'm 49 years old, so for 30 years I've been thinking about this, and I wish I would have done it a lot earlier, but you hear about the George Washingtons and the Benjamin Franklins and stuff like that, so that's always been on my mind, and I love history and all those things, and so it's always been on my mind. And then my wife is actually Eastern Star, and she did that because her grandfather was a Mason, and she was very, very close to her grandfather, and then he passed away suddenly and all this, and it was this stuff that I was thinking about, and since she was so close to him, and
Sure.
We had lots of conversations about it, but I told her that I knew that I needed to be available, and I had some commitments and things like that that I would need to be prepared to do. But finally, it just called me, and I had to do it. And then a few of my very, very good friends, Rolly Simmons and Denny Folk, I learned were Masons, and so I approached Rolly and asked him about being a Mason. So then all of a sudden the skids were greased at that point. We took it from there, and then I was very proud that he sponsored me, and Denny Folk was my mentor and is my mentor through Masonry. So I'm in great hands there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's basically how I got to this point.
Oh, that's fantastic. And if you would share with us briefly, when you received your first degree,
Yeah.
were you in a going through a thought process of this is what I thought it would be like, or wow, this is much different than I presumed things would be?
Well, I sort of made the mistake of reading about it and looking into it a little bit, so some of the surprises weren't really surprises, but I'll tell you what really made an impact on me was, I came into this with very sincere respect, and it was exceeded my expectations about how much that I would feel it to my core of how important and meaningful the brotherhood and the entire history of this is. And so I feel a sincere appreciation for the opportunity, and that all that sort of thing hit me stronger than I even anticipated.
Excellent. And one final question.
Yes, sir.
From where you are now, your vantage point, what do you see yourself doing throughout your Masonic career? Maybe not just one thing, maybe a few things. But what's
Yeah.
dear to your heart? That you
Well,
want to do?
I from here, I really want to be a student of Masonry, and I've been approached by a few offshoots, I guess, of Masonry about going one way or the other. I'm interested in being in the Knights Templar and some other things, but I really want to absorb the foundations of Masonry before I really go to Scottish Rite or some of these others, because I intend to do all those things, but I really want to absorb it and make it a very, very concrete part of my life. And I also intend to gather up a few brothers and maybe take a Washington D.C. trip and go and see some
nice.
George Washington
Yes.
things and the temple there and all that. And I'd like to try to get that done within a couple of years. I think that'd be great. So, but just very much be a student of the entire process and everything that it provides, so that I can give as much back as I'm getting.
Excellent. Now, I hope you'll put me on your invitation list.
Yes, sir. You got it, Bob.
Thanks, Scott. Well, Scott, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And forever, welcome aboard.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.